Long ago, people would simply take a pen and draw straight lines across the map, claiming, "From here to here, I want it all." This is why the borders are so straight. The stakes are laid bare. If our hero wins this duel, everything they desire will be theirs. A simple wish, yet one that carries immense weight under the looming full moon. The tension escalates as the ominous warning rings out. If our hero loses, they will forfeit everything they hold dear. The stakes have never been higher, and the weight of this duel presses down with merciless intensity. Under the haunting glow of the full moon, the two figures stand poised amidst ruins and blooming flowers, the air thick with anticipation. One voice breaks the silence, declaring, "Everything will." A promise hanging on the edge of fate as the duel reaches its climax. The world seems to hold its breath, waiting to see who will claim it all. The sudden blare of sirens cuts through the quiet, signaling an urgent disruption. Inside a cramped, cluttered room, the protagonist lies curled on the bed, lost in thought, the weight of recent events pressing heavily on him. The chaos of his surroundings mirrors the turmoil within, as the world outside demands his attention once more. The alarm clock blares sharply at exactly 3 p.m., jolting the protagonist awake from his restless sleep. Realizing the time, panic sets in as he scrambles out of bed, shouting that he's late for work. The cluttered room becomes a blur as he rushes to face the day, urgency driving every frantic step. The protagonist faces harsh criticism from his boss after repeatedly messing up orders, with the tension escalating to the point of being fired, despite his apologies and explanations about dozing off. The mounting frustration is clear as the boss demands accountability. The weight of failure presses down, signaling a turning point in his day. The protagonist, still shaken, mutters to himself that he's not cut out for a day job as he accidentally bumps into a large man. The man confronts him aggressively, suspecting it was intentional, but the protagonist nervously denies it, explaining he couldn't sleep the night before. The tension lingers as the man demands an answer, while the protagonist tries to keep his composure. The large man shoves the protagonist forcefully into a trash can, mocking him with a harsh insult as he stalks away, declaring that nighttime means bedtime. The protagonist's struggle is interrupted by the sudden ringing of his phone, adding another layer to his chaotic moment. Just as the protagonist struggles trapped inside the trash can, his phone lights up with a message from Nika, saying she'll be at the usual spot. Surprised and hopeful, he calls out her name, quickly texting back that he can't wait to see her. With a sudden burst of energy, he tries to lift the trash can off himself, determined to break free. A message from Nika pops up, reminding him not to forget to bring it, prompting an immediate reply from him. As a nearby railroad crossing bell rings, the protagonist chuckles softly, thinking how excited she is, calling her a goof. Meanwhile, Nika yawns widely, greeting him with a casual sup as they meet on the stairs, exchanging friendly hellos. As evening settles over the city, the protagonist lies sprawled on his bed, letting out a tired sigh, despite the day's chaos. His thoughts drift to a recurring dream that always lingers in his mind. Inside a grand, luminous palace, the protagonist envisions a solitary boy standing with his head bowed, tears quietly falling in the overwhelming darkness. The scene feels heavy with emotion, as if witnessing a deeply personal moment. Suddenly, a sharp gasp breaks the stillness, jolting him back to reality with a sense of urgency. The protagonist proudly shows off his brand new Nikes, excited about how perfect they are. As he tries them on, he remembers that someone asked him to bring them along. The moment feels light and casual, a brief break from the weightier thoughts lingering in his mind. The protagonist opens a drawer to reveal a collection of Duel Masters cards, their familiar designs sparking a wave of nostalgia. His expression softens as he quietly admits, "Dang, it's kinda nostalgic." The sight of the cards brings a warm, reminiscent feeling, connecting him to simpler times. The protagonist reflects on his lost past, feeling as if he's been reborn without any memories before waking up in this town just 6 months ago. Confused and isolated, he wonders who he truly is beneath it all. As night falls, the protagonist finds comfort in the darkness, feeling accepted rather than rejected by the world around him. He quietly admits that he likes the night, a time when he feels a rare sense of belonging amidst the city's towering buildings and bustling crowd. The lively city street bustles with silhouettes of people enjoying the night. Two friends, flushed and cheerful, lean on each other as one eagerly suggests hitting the next bar, despite the other's protests of being unable to drink anymore. Their camaraderie shines through the haze of a night filled with laughter and shared moments. As a striking girl confidently strides down the street, her flowing cape catching the light, a young man watches in awe. His face flushes with admiration as he nervously stammers, then excitedly declares to his friend that she was pretty smokin' hot. The city night hums around them, amplifying the sudden spark of youthful infatuation. Amid the laughter and warmth of friendship, one of the friends suddenly bursts into flames, his cheerful smile contrasting sharply with the shocking sight. The city skyline stands silent under the moonlight, as a distant wail echoes through the night. At 8 p.m. in Shinjuku, two friends face off on a quiet basketball court, teasing each other as they play. Their playful banter fills the night air, lightening the mood despite the city's usual bustle. Nearby, a small group waits impatiently, reminding them that the court was already claimed because they took too long. Tension rises as the rival group acknowledges the newcomers are serious athletes from a respected high school, warning not to mess with them. One of the bigger players suddenly recognizes the protagonist, recalling him as the dumbass from this afternoon. Despite the rough greeting, the protagonist casually thanks him for earlier help, while the bigger player advises him not to be out playing at night. The bigger player storms forward, scolding the protagonist for being out so late and insisting that nighttime is for sleeping. Suddenly, a powerful move is unleashed, catching everyone off guard and prompting a shout of "Win!" from the onlookers. The protagonist watches intently, surprised by the intensity of the challenge. With fierce determination, the protagonist grips the basketball tightly, eyes wide and focused as the intensity of the moment crashes down like a thunderous slam. The tension is palpable, every second charged with the weight of the challenge ahead. The bigger player's eyes widen in shock as he realizes the protagonist just caught a blazing fastball from the track and field club's ace hammer thrower. Barehanded, the protagonist's swift, confident grip on the basketball leaves everyone stunned, the night sky looming over the tense moment. The ball arcs perfectly toward the hoop, the tension mounting as everyone watches breathlessly. Our hero's eyes widen in surprise, sweat dripping down as the shot lands with a satisfying swish. The crowd holds its breath, caught in the thrill of the moment. Shock ripples through the crowd as the shot sinks perfectly, leaving everyone breathless. Suddenly, the tension explodes. One player doubles over, violently coughing up blood, while another launches a fierce punch with blazing intensity. The atmosphere shifts from awe to alarm in an instant. Fear and disbelief ripple through the crowd as one player is thrown violently to the ground, while another flees in terror, shouting "A monster." Our hero stands frozen, sweat beading on his face, grappling with the overwhelming reality of what just happened. Our hero stares at his outstretched hand, stunned and trying to comprehend the overwhelming power he just unleashed around him. His friends erupt in excitement, amazed by the incredible shot and the devastating kick that left their opponent reeling. Confused but exhilarated, he grapples with the reality of his newfound strength. Nika bursts with excitement, her fists clenched in pure joy as she cheers. "Yeah, seriously awesome." Our hero watches her with a warm smile, calling her name with a mix of pride and relief, while a friend teases her about taking her time. The group shares a light-hearted moment as Nika excitedly praises the scene, calling it super-duper cool. Our hero, a bit embarrassed, asks if she was even watching him. Nika playfully clarifies she was admiring his Nike shoes, teasing him with a mischievous grin while he tries to keep his composure. As night falls, the protagonist reflects on the warmth that surrounds him. Nika's ever-bright smile and the kindness of his friends. Together, they light up his world, making the darkness feel alive and full of joy. As their friend slowly stirs awake, Nika quickly notices and suggests a change of plans. Instead of basketball, she excitedly proposes heading to Denny's for a different kind of fun. The group hesitates but follows her lead, ready for a new adventure under the night sky. The group settles into their booth, chatting about what to play next while ordering drinks. Suddenly, Nika surprises everyone by pulling out an extra-large bento box filled with adorable octopus-shaped wieners. Despite the playful scolding for bringing outside food into the restaurant, the protagonist can't help but smile and savor the moment as Nika insists he try a bite. The group eagerly shifts gears as the protagonist reveals a thick deck of Duel Masters cards, sparking excitement and nostalgia. Everyone quickly chimes in, recalling their past experiences and readying themselves for a new round of fun. The mood is light and playful, the perfect way to keep their night alive. The rules are laid out clearly. Line up 5 shields, use spells and creatures to break them, and deliver the final blow to win. The protagonist confidently reveals his serious experience, boasting a second-place finish at the Kanto Grand Prix and a hardcore dedication since elementary school. Despite the friendly challenge, he warns he won't go easy, setting the stage for an intense duel. The stakes suddenly get real when the loser has to cover the entire bill, shocking one of the players who realizes it would wipe out his entire allowance. Despite the pressure, The protagonist insists they play seriously. After all, it wouldn't be fun any other way. With a confident grin and a deck in hand, he challenges his opponent to give it their all, promising they'll regret it if they don't win. The protagonist excitedly shows off a card he likes, praising its cool, rad vibes. His enthusiasm annoys one of the others, who asks him to be quiet. Undeterred, the protagonist confidently declares he's making his move and slams a card down, while his opponent looks tense and focused. The tension breaks as the protagonist confidently activates his shield trigger, turning the tide with a dazzling comeback. His opponent is left stunned and helpless, realizing just how strong the protagonist's strategy really is. With a triumphant grin, our hero presses the advantage, determined to finish the duel on a high note. With a fierce sparkle in her eyes, she boldly declares that all who oppose the King of Darkness shall fall like dominoes. Her unexpected intensity catches everyone off guard, prompting a mix of laughter and shocked reactions from those around her. The protagonist reflects on his strength, acknowledging it matches Japan's top players and wondering how he got this strong after facing countless tough duelists. Meanwhile, a bruised friend recovers from a harsh hit, grimacing but still ready to play, showing his determination despite the pain. Our hero stares intently at a mysterious card titled Perfect Zenith. Puzzled by its sudden appearance, nearby, two others speculate it might have been dropped by some players from earlier, while one scoffs, calling the game stupid and angrily crumpling the card. The tension over this unexpected find lingers as curiosity and frustration mix in the air. The two boys examine the card closely, one amazed by its sparkle and rarity, while the other excitedly suggests it could sell for a lot. Their enthusiasm contrasts with a casual comment about hunger, prompting a dismissive reaction. Meanwhile, the protagonist watches from a distance, his expression unreadable as the basketball bounces nearby. The two boys stand quietly, eyes fixed on the dense hedge before them, a basketball resting nearby. One clutches the mysterious card tightly, his mind racing as he questions the meaning behind the elusive line. The tension builds as they try to unravel the mystery hidden just out of sight. The two boys stare at the eerie, crumbling cityscape beyond the mysterious line. Realizing it wasn't there before, one of them, filled with a mix of excitement and fear, steps toward the line, convinced it might lead to a different dimension. His companion urgently warns him to stop, sensing the danger in crossing into the unknown. The boys stand amidst a shattered cityscape that feels surreal, almost like a video game. One points out the unmistakable silhouette of Tokyo Tower, but the devastation around them makes it hard to believe they're really in Tokyo. Unease grows as one insists on grabbing the basketball, while the other urges caution, wanting to retreat before things get worse. Suddenly, a monstrous, spiked creature emerges, its gaping maw dripping with saliva. Terrifying the boys, the one holding the basketball stands firm, eyes locked on the beast, while the other recoils in shock, barely able to speak. The tension escalates as the threat becomes all too real. The monstrous creature's head suddenly dissolves into a dark, inky void, dripping and shifting as if it's melting away. The boy stands frozen, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief at the terrifying transformation unfolding before him. The eerie sound of a railroad crossing bell rings out, cutting through the tense silence. One boy's face contorts in pain and terror as the inky darkness continues to twist and crack, emitting sickening squelching noises. The shadowy mass writhes violently, its form shifting and expanding, while the other boy watches in stunned horror. The group realizes there's only an hour left until closing time, reluctantly preparing to leave despite their wishes for something more dramatic to happen. As the clock strikes, they remind each other about school the next day and start saying their goodbyes. The atmosphere shifts from tension to a quiet, everyday farewell as they part ways. Panic overtakes one boy as he frantically searches for an exit, desperate to escape the nightmarish place. His breaths come in ragged gasps, and he cries out for help, terrified as something unseen begins to consume him. Helpless and in agony, he pleads for mercy, unable to even scream through the pain. The boy's body is being consumed by a dark, clawed shadow, causing him unbearable pain as he cries out that he's disappearing. Suddenly, the protagonist notices a strange, floating black shape in the ruined cityscape, piquing his curiosity. As the ominous presence lingers, he calmly adjusts his earphone, seemingly unaffected by the chaos around him. Amidst the ruins, a massive, menacing creature lunges forward, its skeletal wings spread wide as it addresses the protagonist by name. The hero stands firm, unfazed by the monstrous threat, as the air crackles with tension in this eerie confrontation. The creature's eye snaps open wide, filled with fierce determination as it declares, "At last, it begins." Below, The full moon looms ominously, casting a haunting glow over the darkened sky. The protagonist steels himself, determination blazing in his eyes as he prepares for the impending clash. With resolve, he declares this will be a duel to reclaim what was lost. His very desires, shadows swirl around him, marking the beginning of a fierce confrontation. Suddenly, a hand is raised high, cutting through the tension. Our hero's eyes widen in shock, sweat dripping down as they process the unexpected gesture. Before him stands a towering, fearsome creature, its monstrous hands stretched out as if to reach into his very soul. Our hero's disbelief is palpable. Could this terrifying vision be real, or just a nightmare? The creature's calm greeting pierces the silence, shattering any hope of retreat. The creature's menacing grin widens as it declares the duel is about to begin. Our hero stands firm, the weight of what's at stake pressing down. This battle is the key to reclaiming everything lost. The morning light filters through the quiet streets as our hero walks alone, lost in thought. His eyes reveal a lingering doubt, haunted by the strange dream that still clings to his mind. With each step, he clings to the hope that it was all just a nightmare, and nothing more. As cherry blossom petals drift softly around them, the girl turns away, her expression unreadable, while the boy glances back with a mix of curiosity and hesitation. The distance between them feels charged, as if unspoken words hang in the air, waiting to be voiced. Their silent exchange hints at a deeper connection, caught between past memories and uncertain futures. As the warning bells ring out, she quickens her pace, leaving him standing alone at the crossing. His eyes follow her retreating figure, a flicker of surprise and something unspoken lingering in his gaze. The moment feels fleeting, charged with a silent tension neither dares to break. She steps forward confidently, crossing the barrier with a determined grace, her silhouette framed by the empty space ahead, below. His wide eyes reveal a sudden surge of emotion, surprise, concern, or something deeper, capturing the weight of this fleeting moment between them. With a burst of adrenaline, they dash across the tracks just as the train roars past, the screech of brakes echoing behind them. Their hands clasped tightly, a shared victory in the face of danger. The triumphant shout of "Win!" captures the exhilaration of this narrow escape. In a sudden, breath-catching moment, she leaps onto him, pinning him to the ground with an intensity that leaves him wide-eyed and flushed. Their faces draw impossibly close, the air thick with unspoken feelings as they lock eyes, caught between surprise and something more tender. The world seems to pause around them, the tension palpable in their shared gaze. She slaps him sharply, scolding him for zoning out and calling him an idiot. Her fierce expression shows just how worried she was, yelling that he almost got run over. Their sudden exchange catches the attention of a nearby girl, who looks on quietly as the tension unfolds. The warning bells ring out urgently as a train speeds past the crossing. A frantic shout revealing someone has just been hit. Without hesitation, the protagonist dashes forward, propelled by shock and determination. While the girl beside him watches in alarm, a train conductor hurriedly approaches the scene, underscoring the gravity of the situation. The train conductor insists he saw someone jump in front of the train, but there's no trace of her anywhere near the tracks. The protagonist confirms he saw her too, leaving everyone puzzled by her sudden disappearance. The conductor warns the young man to stay off the tracks, while the mystery deepens. Just as the girl was about to be hit, she vanished right before his eyes, leaving everyone stunned. The scene abruptly shifts to a classroom where a teacher sternly tells the students to take their seats, calling out one of them for being late. The atmosphere contrasts sharply with the earlier tension, grounding the story back in everyday school life. The protagonist is haunted by the strange girl's sudden disappearance, wondering if she was real or just an illusion. He reflects on the unsettling vibe she gave off and the bizarre experiences he's been having lately. Suddenly, the classroom teacher calls for attention, announcing the introduction of a new transfer student, snapping him back to reality. The teacher introduces the new transfer student, Miss Krista, whose calm and mysterious presence immediately catches the protagonist's attention. His shock grows as he realizes she is the very same girl from that morning's strange encounter. The tension rises as the lines between reality and mystery begin to blur. The mysterious new transfer student greets the class with a warm smile, instantly drawing everyone's attention and admiration. The classroom buzzes with excitement and whispers as the teacher calls for order and instructs the protagonist and Karifuda to take their seats. While the others murmur about the newcomer, the protagonist is caught off guard, staring in surprise and confusion at the girl who has just entered his world. The classroom buzzes with whispers as everyone admires the new transfer student, captivated by her graceful and almost regal presence. Despite the attention, she remains calm and composed, responding politely to the teacher's question about her textbooks. Meanwhile, the protagonist and his classmates exchange surprised glances, intrigued by her confident claim that Master Win will let me see his. Shock ripples through the classroom as one girl realizes the newcomer already knows Win's name. Her mind spinning in disbelief. Meanwhile, a tender moment unfolds between the protagonist and the new girl, their shy smiles hinting at a budding connection. But the peace is quickly shattered when another girl slams her bento down, glaring fiercely and warning the protagonist not to get too happy, or she'll withhold her prized wiener bento. The sudden appearance of a lavish spread catches everyone off guard, leaving the group wide-eyed in surprise. The girl proudly reveals that she's prepared a variety of octopus wiener dishes, stir-fry, soup, and more. Knowing they're the protagonist's favorite, his face lights up with joy as he declares everything looks delicious, clearly touched by the thoughtful gesture. The protagonist eagerly devours the octopus wiener dishes, shouting down the hatch. With pure joy, meanwhile, another girl watches with a flushed, pouty glare, clearly irritated, across from her. The girl who prepared the food smirks confidently, unbothered by the tension. Curious about the mysterious girl who seems to know an unsettling amount about the protagonist, the girl questions his connection to her, pointing out something unexpected. She directs his attention toward the rooftop of the school building, hinting that the answer to the mystery might be waiting there. From the rooftop, a lone girl watches them intently, making the atmosphere uneasy. The protagonist insists he doesn't know her, despite her uncanny knowledge of his name and favorite food. Suspicion grows as they realize she might be the mysterious girl from earlier that morning. The girl recalls the haunting image of the mysterious figure running in front of the train, certain she was hit. But then, inexplicably, she vanished, shocked. The others struggle to make sense of it, wondering aloud if she might be some kind of ghost. The unsettling mystery deepens as the scene shifts to the protagonist's determined footsteps. The mysterious girl suddenly appears before them, calmly asking if they were talking about her. The group is stunned, struggling to reconcile her presence with the fact they just saw her on the rooftop, as they demand answers. She cryptically declares herself as the one that Master Win, deepening the enigma surrounding her identity. With a serene smile, the mysterious girl reveals a startling truth. She is the one Master Win has promised to marry. The two onlookers stare in stunned silence, trying to process her unexpected declaration. The protagonist offers a calm, reassuring smile, seemingly accepting the revelation without hesitation. The girl with the ponytail is visibly shocked, her wide eyes reflecting her disbelief. Meanwhile, the mysterious girl's gentle smile conveys a quiet confidence, as if she already knows the path ahead. The girl with the ponytail erupts in shock, her mind reeling as she yells, "Mary?" Meanwhile, the others exchange surprised glances, with one teasingly asking who the lucky bride is, while the ponytail girl fumes quietly, muttering, "Win, you little piece of..." The mysterious girl's radiant smile shines with warmth as she tells Master Win he has no need for a place like this anymore. She urges him to return with her to their promised home, hinting that a messenger will come for them tonight. Win's expression shifts to one of surprise and contemplation as he processes her words about marriage and their future together. Win nervously denies understanding what the mysterious girl is talking about, clearly caught off guard. She looks puzzled by his response, while nearby, a woman clutches her chest in pain. Suddenly, two others urge Win to hurry and escape the tense situation immediately. The scene shifts abruptly to a quiet classroom, where the protagonist sits calmly at his desk, surrounded by other students engrossed in their work. The moment hints at a transition, as if bringing the story back to a familiar, everyday setting. The teacher introduces the class to The Lord of the Flies, a short novel by William Golding about boys stranded on a deserted island. He explains that the story explores how humans are pushed to their utmost extremes, revealing the animalistic brutality hidden within everyone. The girl reflects on how a tragedy emerges, something utterly impossible in the routine of everyday life. Meanwhile, a bizarre creature with insect wings and a human-like face crawls forward, embodying this unsettling disruption. The school bell rings, signaling the end of the day. The boy wonders about Krista, who he hasn't seen in a while, but decides it's best to leave her alone. Meanwhile, the girl cheerfully suggests meeting up again tonight and reminds him to bring his deck for their game, Duima. Brimming with excitement, the girl proudly shows off the deck she built herself, complete with a custom case. She eagerly asks the boy to teach her how to duel tonight, determined to improve her skills. Meanwhile, a playful memory surfaces of how even their friend with glasses was amazed by the boy's dueling talent. As the sun sets, the boy smiles softly, waving goodbye to the girl who skips off cheerfully, promising to meet again tonight. The peaceful sky shifts to darker clouds, hinting at an approaching change. Suddenly, the girl pauses mid-step, sensing something strange as an eerie sound ripples through the air, leaving her puzzled and alert. As the girl stands frozen on the sidewalk, the ground before her begins to warp and ripple unnaturally. Distorting the cityscape, she stares in shock, whispering in disbelief as the eerie phenomenon grows more intense, signaling something ominous is unfolding. A mysterious figure reveals that the key to the protagonist's memories has been sealed away, symbolized by shimmering crystals containing faint images of two important people. The weight of lost memories hangs heavy as the story titled Crystal of Remembrance begins. The scene shifts to the bustling streets of Shinjuku, grounding the story in a familiar, lively setting. Our hero, focused and determined, takes a shot on a basketball court, the ball soaring toward the hoop. A brief moment of normalcy amid the mystery. The basketball swishes through the net, and our hero clenches his fist in quiet triumph. But the moment is interrupted as he asks about Nika's whereabouts, only to be reminded she's habitually late. His friends chime in with teasing remarks, lightening the mood despite the lingering uncertainty. Our hero's thoughts drift to the mysterious Krista girl, puzzled by her cryptic promise of marriage. The question lingers, what exactly is her deal? And why would she say something so strange? The memory of her words echoes, deepening the intrigue surrounding her. As the basketball game continues, a question nags at him. Could Krista actually know something about his past? The moment is broken when a friend casually points out that Nika is running late again, bringing him back to the present. He checks his phone, seeing his unanswered messages to Nika. Growing more concerned, despite sending texts, there's still no response. The unsettling truth settles in, she's not coming. Our hero is stunned to find Krista here, a place he thought was a secret known only to Nika and himself. He demands to know why she's here, but she only smiles mysteriously, reminding him she already told him once before. The tension thickens as her cryptic presence deepens the mystery. Krista reveals with unsettling confidence that she knows everything about him, calling him Master Win. Our hero is visibly disturbed, demanding to know what's wrong with her as she questions if he truly remembers nothing. The eerie tension between them grows thicker, leaving him creeped out and confused. Frustration boils over as he demands answers about Nika's absence and her ominous message. Suddenly, his phone buzzes with a new text, "Help me win." Shaking him to his core, his shock deepens as he calls out her name, struggling to grasp the meaning behind her desperate plea. His shock intensifies as he grabs Krista by the collar, demanding to know what she did to Nika. The others watch, confused and concerned, while Krista's unsettling smirk only deepens the mystery surrounding her true intentions. The girl calmly tells him it's already too late, her presence flickering like a fading illusion. Shocked, he realizes she truly vanished back then, confirming the haunting truth he's been struggling to accept. Urgency grips the group as they insist on starting the search immediately. Suddenly, a new message pings on his phone. Nika's location hinted at with the words school and hurry. His eyes widen in realization. She's at the school, and time is running out. Frustrated by the crowd slowing him down, he pushes forward despite bumping into a man who yells at him, glancing at his phone. The urgency spikes as he shouts Nika's name, desperate to reach her in time. Pushing through the crowd with fierce determination, the protagonist accidentally collides with a man, who reacts with shock as a sudden gust of wind sweeps through. The unexpected force leaves everyone momentarily stunned, questioning if it was really just the wind or something more. Suddenly, a blur rockets forward at incredible speed, cutting through the street with unstoppable force. The rush of movement sends cars scattering, emphasizing just how fast and urgent this moment has become. The protagonist realizes he's running so fast he just passed a car, his speed reaching unbelievable levels, overwhelmed by the power surging through him. He contemplates how this newfound ability could change everything. The world around him blurs as he pushes forward, driven by determination and awe at his own strength. Fueled by newfound speed, the protagonist pushes forward with fierce resolve, convinced that with this power, he can make it in time. Every muscle tenses as he races against the clock, determination blazing in his eyes. Breathing heavily, the protagonist skids to a stop, realizing he's actually made it to the school. But as he catches his breath, a sudden doubt creeps in. Something about this place feels off. His wide eyes reveal a mix of confusion and suspicion, questioning what he's just arrived at. The protagonist stands frozen, staring at a twisted, nightmarish landscape that mirrors the chaos he once witnessed in the park. A chilling sense of déjà vu washes over him as the scene before him wobbles and distorts, deepening his unease. He realizes this place is far from normal, triggering memories of that terrifying encounter with the monster. The protagonist's heart pounds as a terrifying realization hits him. Could that monstrous figure be lurking just beyond? Fear and shock flood his face as the horrifying presence becomes undeniable, freezing him in place. The protagonist clutches his chest, overwhelmed by a sudden, intense pain as his heart races uncontrollably, struggling to catch his breath. He hears a familiar voice calling out, sparking a desperate recognition. Without hesitation, he bursts through a strange, fiery barrier, shouting the name Nika as he pushes forward. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock as he recognizes the crumbling ruins before him. It's the school, twisted and shattered beyond recognition. The eerie moonlit sky and ominous flying creatures add to the nightmarish atmosphere. Deepening his disbelief, he stammers, questioning if this desolate place is really the school he once knew. The protagonist's panic intensifies as a monstrous creature growls menacingly nearby, his desperate voice echoing with a plea for Nika's whereabouts. Suddenly, a powerful roar shakes the air, catching him off guard and forcing him to brace himself, just as the beast lunges forward. Its massive jaws snap open wide, threatening to engulf him. The monstrous creature snaps its massive jaws shut with a deafening chomp, narrowly missing the protagonist as he ducks just in time. His wide eyes reveal the shock and urgency of the moment, while the beast prepares for another strike, its intimidating form looming closer. The monstrous claw crashes heavily onto the ground, sending a shock through the earth. Its jagged jaw snaps open with a sharp crack, saliva dripping ominously. The protagonist's face is filled with shock and fear as he braces for what's coming next. The monstrous creature snaps its jaws repeatedly, crushing something with terrifying force as the protagonist watches from a distance. Shaken but unharmed, the beast then swallows its prey with a chilling gulp, its shadow casting an ominous presence over the scene. Realizing the monstrous creature is eyeing him as its next meal, the protagonist panics and bolts away. He spots the school nearby and wonders if Nika is inside, desperation fueling his sprint. The terrifying beast chases after him relentlessly, its presence closing in fast. Cornered with the monstrous creature closing in, the protagonist spots a cliff ahead and realizes his usual escape route won't work. With no other choice, he summons his courage and leaps off the edge, hoping to outsmart the relentless beast. The protagonist soars through the air, having leapt off the cliff, as the monstrous creature lunges forward in a desperate attempt to catch him. Shattered rocks and debris fall around them, emphasizing the intensity of the chase. The school building stands nearby, a distant beacon of hope amid the chaos. The protagonist crashes hard against the rocky slope, sliding down with a grunt of pain. Below, the monstrous creature tumbles after him, unable to stop its fall, gasping for breath. The hero struggles to steady himself, watching the beast disappear into the depths. Exhausted and struggling to catch his breath, the protagonist clutches his chest, feeling his heart race uncontrollably, just as he braces himself against the pain. A sudden shock jolts his attention, eyes wide with alarm. The protagonist stands at the edge of the shattered cliff, staring in awe at a dazzling, crystalline city rising from the darkness ahead. The surreal glow and sparkling structures hint at a mysterious new realm beyond the devastation. Suddenly, a radiant crystal formation bursts forth from the ground, shimmering with an otherworldly light, drawn by its brilliance. A girl steps forward, mesmerized and unafraid. While the protagonist watches in stunned silence, the mysterious energy pulses, hinting at a powerful force awakening within this shattered landscape. The protagonist shouts out in desperation, reaching toward the girl as tension mounts between them. Below, a menacing figure with hypnotic eyes declares a chilling welcome to their world, signaling a dark turn in the unfolding mystery. As the world flips upside down, two figures drift in a surreal, inverted space, caught between reality and memory. The title Crystal of Remembrance hints at a journey through forgotten pasts and shifting realities. This is where the story truly begins, where nothing is as it seems. A sudden cry pierces the chaos as a girl desperately calls out to Nika, her expression filled with shock and urgency. Meanwhile, Nika himself is thrown into confusion, witnessing strange crystalline structures erupting around him. The surreal space grows more unstable, leaving him to question the reality unfolding before his eyes. From the shattered ruins below, a swarm of mechanical bees takes flight, their buzzing filling the air with an ominous energy. These strange, robotic creatures seem to pulse with a life of their own, adding another layer of surreal danger to the fractured world around Nika. The mechanical bees surge forward with alarming speed, their buzzing intensifying. Suddenly, one strikes, and the protagonist's arm begins to solidify painfully, trapping him in a crystalline prison. Panic sets in as he realizes Nika might have also fallen victim to these relentless attackers. The protagonist screams in agony as his body begins to crack and harden into crystalline shards, the transformation painfully overtaking him. His arm and legs fracture visibly, solidifying into an unyielding prison. Desperation and fear flood his expression as the merciless crystallization spreads rapidly. A shadowy, monstrous figure looms behind the protagonist, accusing him of having forgotten everything, striking a nerve deep within. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock and confusion, his mind reeling as if the words are piercing his very soul. Desperately, he demands to know who this ominous presence is. The ominous figure warns the protagonist that he's on the brink of death and urges him to defend himself as he did before. By taking out his deck and activating his shield, the protagonist and the girl exchange shocked glances, realizing the significance of deck and shield in this desperate moment. Realization dawns on the protagonist as he connects the ominous figure's words to a crucial item. With urgency, a hand swiftly reveals a deck of cards, confirming the key to his defense. Meanwhile, mechanical bees buzz ominously nearby, heightening the tension. Summoning every ounce of courage, the protagonist raises his deck high, unleashing a radiant burst of light. The iconic Duel Master's emblem blazes into view, signaling the activation of his shield and the start of his defense. The tension peaks as he prepares to face the imminent threat head-on. The protagonist is stunned by the sudden flash of light, barely dodging a mechanical bee's attack. A voice urgently commands him to lay out his shields, but he's overwhelmed, questioning where he's supposed to place them in this chaotic moment. As another attack slams nearby, he scrambles to respond, caught between confusion and the pressing need to defend himself. The protagonist suddenly finds himself surrounded by a blinding light, with attacks crashing all around him. He realizes he's trapped inside a glowing sphere, desperately trying to understand what's happening as the chaos intensifies. The protagonist stands firm inside the glowing barrier, astonished as it miraculously halts every attack from the creatures. Conflicted but determined, he begins to understand that true strength lies in coexisting with these beings. This realization marks a pivotal moment in what it truly means to be a duelist. Suddenly, a mysterious figure named Krista appears, her presence commanding and ethereal as she stands amidst the ruins. The protagonist, shocked and desperate, calls out her name, sensing that she holds the key to what's unfolding. Krista reveals that they are protected by a divine power, the blessing of the god of duels. The protagonist, stunned, begins to piece together the significance of this god, while another voice urgently calls out the name Nika, hinting at a deeper connection. Desperation floods the protagonist as he demands an explanation for Nika's imprisonment, urging them to release her immediately. Meanwhile, a cold voice dismisses the trapped woman as nothing more than a commoner, deepening the mystery and tension surrounding her true importance. As the buzzing creatures relentlessly chew away at the crystal prison, the trapped girl remains helpless inside. Meanwhile, Krista's expression hardens with quiet resolve as she coldly declares that Nika is unworthy of any connection, even if the protagonist's feelings were merely a game. A radiant figure declares the protagonist victorious, proclaiming him as the single human favored by the god of duels. Below, a confident woman extends her hand, her expression filled with admiration and awe, acknowledging his unique and divine blessing. The radiant figure beckons the protagonist to follow, urging him to return to the world where they truly belong. Despite the gentle invitation, the protagonist's resolve hardens as he fiercely demands Nika's release, refusing to be silenced. The tension escalates as his voice cuts through the air with unyielding determination. With a roar that shakes the very ground, the protagonist unleashes a powerful command, demanding Nika's immediate release. His fierce determination radiates as he stands resolute against the towering, monstrous figure before him. The air crackles with energy, signaling the clash of wills about to unfold. The monstrous figure reveals a sinister grin, mocking the protagonist with a chilling laugh and a taunt about his expression. Meanwhile, the woman watches in shock and confusion, repeatedly questioning why this is happening. In the shadows, a pair of wide eyes observe silently, acknowledging that the true form has finally been unveiled. The woman grapples with shocking revelations, questioning why the master is winning and if Abyssbel is truly the Jashan Emperor, the destroyer of the former world. A dark figure reveals to Krista that the one they seek is under Jashan's control, urging her to release him immediately. The weight of this truth hangs heavy as the monstrous presence looms ominously behind the protagonist. The woman reflects in disbelief that the deceiving master winning could only be Jashan, the dark force they feared. She solemnly declares that judgment will be passed by the god of duels. For that is the law in this world. As the tension peaks, the protagonist steps forward, accepting the harsh truth that the master will emerge victorious. With fierce determination, the protagonist declares their resolve to save her from Emperor Jashin's control. Standing united, they invoke the power of the god of duels, ready to challenge the dark force that binds her. Shadows of monstrous forms loom behind them, intensifying the gravity of their vow. Our hero finds himself caught between two cheerful girls, each trying to feed him a bite from their lunchboxes. The moment is lighthearted and filled with playful affection, as both girls vie for his attention with bright smiles. The young fighter declares victory with unwavering confidence. Meanwhile, a mysterious woman, her face shadowed, begins to make a bold promise, hinting at a challenge yet to come. The mysterious woman steps forward, determination blazing in her eyes, as she holds up a card, her voice resolute with a promise to save you. The weight of her vow hangs heavy, signaling a pivotal moment about to unfold. The duel officially begins as both fighters take their positions. The air thick with tension, the mysterious woman boldly declares, "I charge my mana." As she swiftly plays her cards, signaling the start of a fierce battle, energy surges as the game intensifies, promising a clash of wills and power. With unwavering determination, she pays her mana and commands her card to answer her call. The tension spikes as she summons a powerful creature, challenging her opponent to reveal their true strength. The battle's intensity escalates with each decisive move. The mysterious woman boldly summons Kangyo, Kryze's missionary, commanding the creature to go forth and fight. Our hero watches in stunned disbelief, realizing this is no ordinary battle. They're witnessing an actual duel unfolding before their eyes. Confused and unsettled, our hero realizes the deck in his hands isn't the one he brought. He doesn't recognize a single card. Determined to push forward despite the mystery, he charges his mana and boldly summons Jablud, Wicked Dragon, hoping this powerful creature will turn the tide of the battle. Our hero's eyes widen in shock as Jablud, the Wicked Dragon, suddenly lunges forward, revealing it's the very same dragon that tried to devour him earlier. Still alive and more dangerous than ever, the tension spikes as the skeletal beast chomps fiercely, forcing our hero to brace himself against the unexpected attack. The skeletal dragon suddenly calms, almost as if it's obeying the hero, sparking disbelief. Did it actually consume the mana? The mysterious figure steps forward, revealing that every move, every creature summoned, and every spell cast is bound by the rules written on the cards. She questions the hero's memory, emphasizing that all things in this world follow those rules without exception. A sharp crack echoes as a spear pierces through a shield, shattering it completely. The mysterious figure's voice rings out, reminding the hero that every opponent's shield he breaks follows the same unyielding rules. Our hero's eyes widen in shock, realizing the full weight of this revelation. The hero learns that these shields serve a vital purpose. To protect his life, each opponent starts with a set number of shields, and only by breaking all of them can one claim ultimate victory. The tension rises as he realizes the stakes. Destroying every shield is the only way to win. The chilling truth settles in. The loser of this duel will die. Our hero's realization sharpens. This is the brutal nature of dueling in this world. The mysterious figure confirms the deadly stakes, her clenched fist signaling the finality as she declares, "Master win." The battlefield suddenly transforms as the mysterious figure summons a colossal temple, the Taburasa Shantaram, Temple of D. Expanding the duel's arena, our hero is stunned, realizing they are now inside a temple that appeared when the card was played. The stakes are raised even higher as the figure warns that everything dear to him is on the line in this intensified duel. Determined despite the confusion, our hero boldly summons Honey equals Margany, declaring his resolve to never lose in this deadly duel. His fierce spirit ignites the battlefield, met with the mysterious figure's calm affirmation, acknowledging his unwavering will. The mysterious figure acknowledges the hero's skill but reveals he has already fallen into a carefully laid trap. She places a face-down card into the mana zone, explaining that within this temple, only she can crystallize mana. As the crystals accumulate, her control over the duel grows even stronger. The mysterious figure summons a colossal, divine entity, declaring that everything will end with the descent of a god. The overwhelming presence of this godlike force fills the temple, signaling a devastating turn in the duel. The hero recognizes the ominous voice once more, realizing it comes from the statue behind the mysterious woman. A god named Kryze Tabula Rasa. This sinister deity has claimed her soul, binding her to its will. A warning echoes through the temple. The hero must win without fail, for the battle could spiral out of control if he loses focus. The hero strategically destroys Honey, triggering Margani's effect through its disciple, Kangyo, and revives the fallen Margani. With a confident grin, he activates Jablood's effect, returning 4 cards from his graveyard to his deck, turning the tide of the duel. The opponent watches with intrigue as the hero's move unfolds. Some turns later, the hero summons Footrest equals Trace, boosting the power of his creatures on the battlefield. With a fierce strike, he destroys Kangyo, making his forces even stronger. Then, he triggers a revolution change, swapping out cards to shift the momentum further in his favor. The opponent shocks the hero by summoning 2 massive creatures, each with a staggering cost of 10, disrupting the duel's rhythm. The hero stares intently, trying to process this sudden shift, while the opponent remains calm and composed, ready for the next move. The hero's eyes widen as a sudden realization strikes him. He spotted something crucial. The opponent calmly confirms it's the Crystal Soul, pointing to a specific area on the battlefield that could change everything. The opponent reveals that all the mana charged face down within the temple crystallizes, granting 3 mana each. This power boost means they can summon 3 times more powerful creatures, making their strategy 8 times faster than the heroes. Their confident expression shows they're ready to overwhelm the battlefield with this newfound advantage. The hero's anxiety peaks as he finally acknowledges the sinking feeling he's been trying to ignore. The ominous presence warns him that if this momentum continues, it will be fatal. Despite the looming threat, the hero tries to reassure himself that everything will be fine. The hero, eyes sharp and determined, slams down a card with fierce conviction. His voice cuts through the tension, declaring that the opponent should already know what to do next. This move signals he's ready to fight back, refusing to be overwhelmed. The hero summons a towering creature, Hama equals Dama, unleashing its intimidating presence onto the battlefield. Despite the impressive arrival, the opponent scoffs, mocking the creature's mere 2,000 power as insignificant. Unfazed, the hero steels himself, determined to prove the true strength behind his summon. The opponent's creature crashes down with overwhelming force, shattering the hero's behemoth in a single blow. Shock ripples through the hero as he wonders if a graveyard effect boosted the attack's power. Doubt creeps in. Could his rival actually be catching up to his speed? The opponent summons Todorot, whose power skyrockets to 14,000 thanks to every card in the graveyard, shifting the momentum drastically. With precise strategy, he commands his creature to destroy Cries equals Beals, turning the duel completely on its head. The hero watches in awe, realizing what it means to face someone truly favored by the god of duels. The opponent stands victorious, his dark aura swirling as he declares, Karifuda win. Meanwhile, the hero's shocked expression reveals his growing despair. Can he really not win, even with all his power? She looks up with a heavy heart, realizing the painful truth. She can't win, no matter how hard she tries. Someone like her stands no chance against Master Win. As the shadowy figure descends with overwhelming power, the weight of defeat presses down on her. The title Crystal of Remembrance hints at the memories and regrets tied to this crushing moment. The clash between light and darkness feels inevitable, sealing her fate in this duel. The monstrous figure looms over her, its voice echoing with a chilling certainty as it addresses her by name. She hears the ominous words about a deadline she cannot escape, the weight of the curse or power bestowed upon her pressing down like a shackle. Her body trembles, a crack forming in her resolve as fear and realization flood her eyes. A sudden, searing pain cracks through her arm, forcing a scream that echoes her agony. Her body convulses as the injury deepens, shattering the last remnants of her strength. Nearby, the protagonist's eyes widen in shock, helpless against the brutal turn of events. The protagonist rushes to her side, alarmed by her sudden collapse and desperate to understand what's wrong. She struggles to catch her breath, clearly weakened and on the brink of collapse. With a determined glare, he pleads for the fight to end, insisting there's no reason for such a brutal confrontation when one of them is bound to die. The protagonist pleads for the fight to end, begging for Nika to be returned and for the conflict to be called off, despite the overwhelming odds and the crushing weight of the situation. She refuses to give up, determined to keep fighting. With trembling hands, she draws a card from the deck, vowing to rise from the depths of despair toward a heavenly paradise. With fierce determination, she slams down her card, declaring the start of a duel. The tension skyrockets as the battle shifts from physical to strategic, both sides ready to face off in this high-stakes game. The air crackles with anticipation, signaling a pivotal moment in their conflict. With a fierce cry, she slams down her ace card, declaring its arrival with unwavering confidence. The opponent's shock is palpable as she channels all her mana, invoking a powerful reversal that promises to overturn everything in the duel. The stakes have never been higher as the battle takes a dramatic turn. With a commanding shout, she summons the fearsome Lord of the Underworld, unleashing a monstrous force from the depths. The ancient statue creaks and cracks as it begins to awaken, signaling a terrifying new power entering the duel. The ancient statue shudders violently, cracks spiderwebbing across its surface as it begins to crumble. Light bursts forth from its core, illuminating the chamber with an overwhelming energy. Our hero watches in shock, realizing the statue is awakening, and the duel is about to reach a terrifying new level. With a fierce command, she unleashes the full force of her spell, summoning a colossal, insect-like entity that crashes down with overwhelming power. The sheer scale and intensity of the creature's descent shake the ground, marking a devastating escalation in the duel. A thick, swirling gas suddenly envelopes the battlefield, catching our hero off guard as he struggles to breathe. The monstrous insect-like entity stands ominously amidst the haze, its presence even more menacing as the mysterious fog spreads. Confusion and alarm grip the hero as he demands to know the source of this suffocating gas. The terrifying skeletal figure lets out a bone-chilling roar, its presence sending shockwaves through the chamber. Our hero, alarmed and desperate, calls out urgently to his allies, demanding to know what's happening as chaos erupts around them. Caught off guard, the hero narrowly dodges a powerful strike from the armored foe, his eyes wide with shock. The sudden attack leaves him stunned, struggling to comprehend the swift danger closing in. The hero winces in pain, clutching his injured arm as blood seeps through his fingers. He reels in shock, realizing the attack's devastating impact. Suddenly, a towering, ominous figure looms before him, its dark silhouette radiating menace, while a distant voice reveals the sinister source behind this chaos. The Lord of the Underworld's power is at play. A fierce figure unleashes a terrifying spell, shouting creature control, total domination, as she seizes control of the monstrous warriors around her. The hero's eyes widen in horror, barely able to process her command to make these deadly creatures turn on each other. The battlefield shifts into chaos as the controlled beasts prepare to clash violently. The dark figure strikes fiercely, shattering the hero's defenses and destroying all his summoned creatures both in hand and on the battlefield. The protagonist reels from the brutal assault, coughing up blood in shock and disbelief. His desperate cry of "No way!" echoes his shattered hope. The sinister figure taunts the hero, declaring, "Now you're torn." As the pressure mounts, our protagonist locks eyes with determination, gripping a card tightly and shouting, "My turn! It's here!" His sudden move catches the opponent off guard, leaving her stunned with a shocked, "What?" With fierce determination, the hero commands, "Come out!" As he reveals a powerful card, a monstrous figure emerges, laughing triumphantly, declaring, "Fo ha ha ha! So it's finally time for my grand debut." With a fierce roar, the hero summons his ultimate weapon, Wicked God Jashin Abyssbell, its towering, menacing form erupting behind him, ready to turn the tide of battle. The air crackles with raw power as the monstrous deity makes its grand debut, signaling a dramatic shift in the fight. The colossal form of Wicked God Jashin Abyssbell looms ominously, dwarfing everyone around as the ground trembles beneath its power. The opponent sneers, confident that with the hero's hand and field empty, victory is already secured. Yet, the hero's steely gaze challenges her certainty, hinting at a hidden resolve. The hero confidently declares that Jashin can summon his abyssal comrades, revealing a power that makes a hand of cards unnecessary by calling from the graveyard. Shocked, the opponent protests, pointing out the hero's destroyed hand. But the hero's bold proclamation leaves her stunned and speechless. With a commanding shout, the hero summons Sverner, the wicked horse, calling forth his trusted steed from the depths of the graveyard. The monstrous horse rears up, its eerie, multi-eyed form radiating power and loyalty. This unexpected ally charges forward, ready to turn the tide once more. The hero merges Abyssbell and Deathbell, transforming into the formidable Jashin Emperor, a towering figure radiating immense power. With a fierce cry, he raises the blade of annihilating life and fate, ready to unleash destruction on his foes. The monstrous steed beneath him charges forward, embodying the unstoppable force of his newfound might. The Jashin Emperor slashes fiercely with the blade of annihilating life and fate, striking the massive, grotesque opponent head-on. The impact sends shockwaves through the battlefield, the force of the blow echoing like thunder. The monstrous foe reels back, caught off guard by the overwhelming power of the hero's assault. The monstrous foe mocks the hero's power level, dismissing it as insignificant compared to the might of Hades. Undeterred, the hero glares fiercely, refusing to back down despite the taunts. The enemy's confidence is palpable, but the battle is far from over. With a fierce shout, the Jashin Emperor unleashes a devastating attack. Blow! Winds of the underworld. The monstrous foe reels in shock as the powerful strike crashes down. Nearby, an ally watches with a mix of awe and hope. The monstrous foe is stunned to see the Jashin Emperor unharmed, questioning how not a single scratch marks him. The protagonist confidently reminds that no creature with a cost of 10 or higher can defeat Jashin. The ally, impressed but determined, vows to strip away all of the enemy's shields, preparing for the next move. With a fierce battle cry, the hero unleashes the winds of the underworld. Attack, sending a powerful gust crashing toward the monstrous foe. The force shatters the ground and debris flies as the enemy is caught off guard by the sudden onslaught. Nearby, the ally watches intently, ready to support the next move. The ally grits his teeth, pushing through the pain as he breaks through the enemy's defenses. With fierce determination, he shatters all 4 shields, leaving the foe vulnerable and exposed. The battle intensifies as the protective barriers fall away. Shattered memories and fierce determination collide as the protagonist faces a looming, monstrous threat. Fragments of cherished faces remind him of what's at stake, pushing him toward a decisive moment. The final chapter begins. Conclusion. The protagonist unleashes a devastating attack, winds of the underworld, striking the monstrous foe with overwhelming force. As the dust settles, the enemy is defeated, and a victorious figure stands, breathless but triumphant, quietly affirming, "I've done it, I've won." Her eyes widen in awe and relief as the smoke begins to clear, revealing the aftermath of the fierce battle. From within the dissipating clouds, a lone figure stands tall, bathed in radiant light, signaling the hard-fought victory. The air still hums with the echo of the final, powerful strike. With unwavering focus, the protagonist activates a powerful defense, summoning the shield trigger, just as an intense force descends from above. The air crackles with energy, signaling a pivotal moment in the battle. A close-up reveals a shocked ally, eyes wide with hope and surprise at the sudden turn. The protagonist reveals the card Zinity Zine, a spell that drastically weakens an opponent's creature by 12,000 power. With a confident grin, he explains how this negative power will cause the creature to be destroyed repeatedly, bypassing its usual defense. Meanwhile, an ally reacts in shock, fearing the inevitable removal of their creature. With fierce determination, the protagonist declares that the annoyance is finally over. He reveals his next move, Death Bell Jashin, a devastating counterattack that destroys one of the opponent's creatures for every shield he's lost. The opponent's shock is palpable as the threat looms large. With fierce resolve, the protagonist declares it's his turn and dramatically summons Death Bell Jashin. Unleashing its emperor's final effect, the imposing creature bursts onto the scene, signaling a devastating counterattack that could turn the tide of battle. The tension spikes as the opponent braces for the incoming assault. The opponent confidently reveals that under the emperor's command, all her Abyss Royales are revived and ready to strike immediately. Despite this overwhelming comeback, the protagonist remains unfazed. The opponent taunts that even mobilizing all her creatures won't change the outcome, declaring the protagonist's victory inevitable. The protagonist reveals a powerful combination. With Hades' Tabula and Raz's effect, Crystal Kappa grants total immortality, a world without death, encased in a radiant crystal. The hero's form symbolizes an unbreakable defense that can elude any defeat. The protagonist, glowing with hope and determination, declares that with Hades, they can live on into eternity, embracing a world of immortality, despite the opponent's dismissal of such a life as mere fantasy. The hero passionately invites them to live on together forever. The victory is sealed with a radiant promise of eternal life. With fierce determination, the protagonist unleashes his final ace, Demonic Sky Descent. He commands all the cards in the opponent's hand and mana zone to swap places, drawing power from the crystal mana that fuels their strength. Grasping the crystal tightly, he prepares to turn the tide with this bold, game-changing move. The opponent's shock is palpable as their mana suddenly vanishes, leaving them powerless and screaming in disbelief. The protagonist watches intently, commanding the chaotic shift of cards and energy. Desperation rises as the opponent cries out for the chaos to stop, realizing the devastating impact of this bold move. With a fierce grin, the protagonist declares the move flawlessly executed, commanding victory with unwavering confidence. His summoned beast rises powerfully, ready to finish the battle as he tells it to handle the rest. The tide has turned completely in his favor. The protagonist's summoned beasts surge forward, united in a fierce charge as they roar, "To us!" Their combined power radiates unstoppable force, ready to overwhelm any opposition in their path. The battlefield trembles beneath the overwhelming presence of these fearsome creatures. The protagonist's summoned beast delivers a brutal, decisive blow, tearing through the enemy with savage force. Nearby, a desperate ally cries out in anguish, rushing toward the chaos. Meanwhile, a shadowy figure vows that they will not be the one to fall, their resolve burning fiercely amidst the carnage. In the midst of the chaos, a dark, monstrous silhouette looms over a shocked girl, its presence overwhelming and menacing. The chilling realization hits hard. This is the girl everyone has been talking about. The tension spikes as the shadowy figure's grasp tightens, sealing her fate in this critical moment. Cracks begin to spread across Krista's fragile form as the protagonist calls out to her in shock. With a faint, bittersweet smile, she utters his name one last time before breaking apart, her voice filled with sorrow and acceptance, despite all her efforts to return to the world where he resides. Her existence shatters, marking a heartbreaking farewell. The protagonist faces the heartbreaking truth as Krista, fragile and fading, tells him this is where they must part. Despite his desperate protests, she remains resolute, tears streaming down her face as she accepts their inevitable farewell. Amidst the shattered landscape, a voice reassures the protagonist that hope still lingers and his power remains intact. With unwavering confidence, the figure affirms that he can reclaim the world, placing faith in him as the key to victory. The protagonist, caught between doubt and determination, begins to believe in the promise of a new beginning. As Krista's fragile form begins to shatter, she confesses her love one last time, her voice filled with heartfelt sincerity. Meanwhile, the protagonist's eyes widen in surprise as a crystal card appears before him, promising to guide him to the mysterious region. As the protagonist desperately calls out to Krista, a powerful force begins to close in, signaling the end of their time together. The imposing figure watches solemnly, acknowledging that the zone is about to vanish with the dawn. The weight of the moment hangs heavy as the world shifts around them. As the sun blazes intensely over the cityscape, the silhouetted figure reflects solemnly, admitting that this very sun represents his greatest weakness. The overwhelming light casts a stark contrast against his dark form, emphasizing the vulnerability hidden beneath his imposing presence. The protagonist's eyes widen as he clutches the crystal card tightly, determination flashing across his face. Suddenly, he spots someone collapsed on the ground, and panic surges through him. Rushing over, he calls out desperately, "Nika!" as he reaches the fallen figure. He cradles Nika gently, his heart breaking as tears well up in his eyes. The shock and disbelief overwhelm him. There's no way she could be gone. Desperation floods the protagonist's voice as he screams Nika's name, clutching her lifeless form tightly. His eyes widen in shock, but then, a faint flicker of movement, a fluttering eyelid, ignites a fragile hope amidst the despair. The girl stands confidently, confused about her surroundings and questioning if this is the school. Meanwhile, the boy, relieved to see Nika awake, anxiously asks if she's hurt anywhere, his gratitude evident despite his tears. Suddenly, a loud shout erupts, demanding to know where someone thinks they're touching. Still a bit dazed, she innocently asks what he means, clearly unaware of the tension. The boy blinks in surprise, processing her confusion. Then, with renewed energy, she cheerfully insists he teach her how to duel, reminding him of his promise, while stretching and mentioning how hungry she is. At that moment, a sudden creaking groan breaks through the air, sharp and unmistakable. The boy's eyes widen in alarm as he hears the ominous sound echoing across the cityscape, signaling that something is terribly wrong. As the haunting creak reverberates through the city, the world around him begins to crumble and slip away, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. The gravity of the situation settles in as the protagonist stares up at the collapsing skyline, realizing that everything is unraveling before his eyes. He appears in the dark of the night, a striking figure with jet black hair flowing behind him. His skin is as pale as the stark white moonlight, and his eyes burn with the brilliant red of freshly spilled blood. If you ever meet him, you mustn't meet his gaze. For those who dare to meet his eyes, their souls are destined to be stolen away. The ominous shadow of his scythe looms close. They call him. Under the full moon's watchful gaze, the headquarters buzzes with urgency. The call comes through. Agents number 1 and number 2 must report back immediately and head toward the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building in Shinjuku. The night is thick with tension as the chase begins. The police rush through the city streets, responding to yet another homicide. Confusion and urgency grip the officers as they realize bodies are appearing all over the map, with no clear cause behind the killings. The situation spirals deeper into chaos, leaving everyone wondering what's really happening. A massive, shadowy figure with wings smashes through the cityscape, sending debris and a car flying through the air. Panic erupts as urgent calls demand agents to report back immediately. The chaos escalates, with destruction spreading uncontrollably. Our hero struggles with the overwhelming crowd, clearly uncomfortable in such a congested place. As he waits anxiously, a news report reveals a grim discovery. An unidentified body was found in a public park this morning, bearing horrific injuries. The tension in the city only deepens as the mystery unfolds. The news report reveals the victim was found at Shinjuku Park, a place where our hero and his friends often hang out at night. Realizing the gravity of the situation, a friend urgently calls out to him, warning that this is serious. His shock deepens as she desperately urges him to look. Suddenly, the mood shifts as a cheerful girl bursts in, proudly holding up a giant rainbow cotton candy shaped like a bear. Her excitement is infectious, and she declares the sweet treat is hers, catching the protagonist off guard with her enthusiasm. The cheerful girl proudly shows off her rare, giant rainbow cotton candy, clearly thrilled with her find. The boy teasingly accuses her of being late because she was out buying it, prompting her to defensively call him a jerk. Their playful banter lightens the mood, contrasting the earlier tension. Determined to make her adorable cotton candy bear famous, she snaps photos and confidently declares her mission to make it go viral. As she posts the cute selfie online, the boy watches in surprise, questioning the idea of going viral. The girl casually reveals she's already posted the photo, surprising the boy with how quickly it's gaining likes. Suddenly, a group of people nearby recognize her from the app, sparking whispers of familiarity. Holding up her phone, they confirm they've seen her before, impressed by her sudden online presence. The girl proudly shows off her cotton candy bear, excitedly declaring it the real Nika. Nearby, people recognize the treat and eagerly express their desire to try it, pointing out the store where it's sold. The growing crowd around the cotton candy truck buzzes with excitement, drawing even more attention. Realizing her influence can instantly boost any store's popularity, she dashes off with excitement, determined to find another spot to promote. The boy hurriedly tries to keep up, puzzled by her sudden urgency. Confidently leading the way, she follows a hunch about a famous, yet quiet, store nearby, eager to uncover its potential. The girl eagerly leads the way up a narrow staircase, her excitement clear as she announces their arrival. The boy follows hesitantly, still trying to catch up and figure out where they're headed. His puzzled expression shows he's unsure but willing to trust her lead. The girl excitedly reveals they've arrived at a card shop, her enthusiasm shining as she points it out. However, when she tries to enter, the door's security system buzzes and beeps, refusing to open. The boy notes the shop appears to be closed, leaving them both puzzled by the unexpected lockout. Peering intently through the frosted glass, she tries to make out the people inside, her determination clear. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls out, catching them off guard as a boy recognizes them and approaches with a friendly greeting. The unexpected encounter leaves her wide-eyed and surprised. Mai, Win's best friend, greets them with a knowing smile, teasing the boy about his earlier claim of being an amateur. The boy admits it's his first time at the shop, while Mai explains that the place is members only, showing how the front door lock keeps it secure. The girl looks concerned, wondering if it's really okay for them to come inside. As they step inside, the boy's expression shifts to one of surprise. Meanwhile, a figure in the room senses something off, quietly remarking that the situation feels a little bad. The atmosphere grows tense as everyone takes notice of the newcomers. Tension erupts as a tough-looking figure storms in, demanding to know who the newcomers are and scolding Mai for letting them in without an invite. The boy nervously tries to intervene, but the atmosphere only thickens with suspicion. All eyes lock onto the girl, whose surprised expression reveals she's been recognized. Recognition spreads instantly as the girl is identified as Lady Nika, a super popular influencer. The mood shifts dramatically, with excitement and admiration replacing suspicion, grateful for her fame. The boy cheers that they're saved thanks to her popularity, while Nika confidently prepares to work her charm. The mood shifts abruptly as Mai snaps fiercely, warning the boy not to meddle in her personal life, leaving him startled and sweating nervously. Meanwhile, the girl cheerfully calls out to Mai, breaking the tension with a bright smile. The manager finally appears, curious about the commotion and asking if there are newcomers, as the boy urgently calls out to him. The manager, Hayama Meguru, warmly welcomes the newcomers to the Red Plain card shop with an inviting smile. The boy and girl recognize him as a tough duelist, while the girl can't help but admire his charm, even if he's not exactly her type. The atmosphere lightens as they step into the shop under his friendly greeting. The manager casually admits he's heard a lot about the protagonist from Mai and is curious about the one who managed to beat him, acknowledging the protagonist's strong dueling skills. Meanwhile, the girl is shocked and feels ignored, wondering if he even knows who she is. The surrounding crowd murmurs in interest, intrigued by the newcomer's reputation and the challenge he presents to the shop's top duelist. The manager enthusiastically explains that training every day at the shop can help anyone polish their talent and aim to become Japan's top duelist. The boy is surprised to receive such an invitation. While the manager encourages him to keep winning, the protagonist learns from Mai that the strongest duelist there is Mist Tsukumoya, someone even Mai hasn't been able to defeat, and that Mai himself has improved greatly since becoming a regular at the shop. The girl sitting at the table grows visibly bored, urging Win to leave already. Just then, a confident woman enters, apologizing for being late, catching the girl's full attention. Mist Tsukumoya makes a striking entrance, greeting everyone with a casual "What's up?" Her arm is in a sling, immediately drawing concerned questions from the crowd. Despite the speculation about her losing a fight, a cheerful voice defends her, insisting she would never get into a fight, and even if she did, she wouldn't lose. The girl at the table grumbles about the lovey-dovey couple nearby, clearly annoyed by their affection. Meanwhile, the newcomer is greeted warmly, with comments on how rare it is to see a girl here. When asked if they're a couple, the protagonist cheerfully confirms they are newcomers, sparking curiosity among the group. The newcomer is introduced as Win, the latest member of the store's team, and is said to be even stronger than Mai, who once placed second in Kanto. Though Win protests, the confident woman acknowledges his reputation with a knowing smile, impressed by what she's heard. The girl confidently challenges Win, eager to face someone who defeated Mai. The crowd buzzes with excitement, praising her as the fearsome fire-punched Tsukumoya, known for scorching everything in her path. Win accepts the challenge with a calm smile, while she playfully warns them to watch closely, convinced she won't lose. The fiery challenger wastes no time, boldly declaring her intent to burn her opponent to ash as the duel begins. She summons two powerful creatures, Blaze Claw and Kengoku Nudo, unleashing an aggressive fire deck. The protagonist quickly recognizes her strategy, bracing for the intense battle ahead. Tsukumoya unleashes a relentless assault, breaking through Win's shields with her fiery creatures. The crowd roars as she declares her three-turn rush attack is in full swing, despite her confidence. A sly smile hints that she might be underestimating her opponent. Tsukumoya warns that cornering the King of Darkness could lead to losing your own life, hinting at a dangerous counter. Seizing the moment, the protagonist confidently activates the Just in You card, reviving Jababira blood from the graveyard and catching everyone off guard. Tsukumoya's shock is clear as the tide of battle suddenly shifts. The room buzzes with disbelief as everyone questions if Tsukumoya actually lost, stunned by the unexpected comeback. Tsukumoya herself admits surprise, acknowledging the protagonist's hidden skill with a sly smile. Meanwhile, a supportive friend eagerly encourages the protagonist to join his team, convinced that he's truly the real deal. A sharp voice cuts through the tension as someone demands to know the secret behind the protagonist's mysterious card. The sudden question catches the protagonist off guard, causing a brief moment of surprise and hesitation. All eyes lock onto the protagonist, their intense stares piercing through the room as the crowd silently demands an answer. The pressure mounts, and the protagonist's grip tightens on the card, caught between hesitation and the weight of expectation. A confident figure chuckles nervously, brushing off the intense scrutiny with a bright smile and a casual apology. Insisting they must have been mistaken, the protagonist, still tense and sweating, refuses to reveal the secret behind the card, shaking his head firmly as murmurs ripple through the crowd. Nearby, a curious onlooker watches the exchange with a puzzled expression, sensing the unresolved tension hanging in the air. The girl reminds everyone that it's already 6 p.m. and warns about recent dangerous incidents, urging them to leave soon, despite her concern. The group decides to stay longer, planning to duel 10 more rounds. One of them encourages the protagonist, Nika, to get going, but the mood is light as they prepare to continue. Nika arrives home just before curfew, brushing off the late arrival with a casual excuse. Despite warm invitations to stay for dinner, he politely declines, claiming he's already had too much dessert. The scene ends with a lighthearted farewell as Nika heads out again, leaving behind a mix of concern and teasing. Back in his cluttered room, the protagonist collapses onto his bed, exhaustion weighing heavily on him. He lets out a deep sigh, his eyes half closed, as he pulls out a photograph from his pocket. Lost in thought, outside, the quiet evening settles in, contrasting with the turmoil inside. Nika holds up the crystal card, recalling how the moment he showed it at the shop, everyone's expressions instantly turned to fear. He wishes he could dismiss it as imagination, but the unsettling reaction felt all too real. Lost in a void of uncertainty, the protagonist wrestles with the weight of his unknown past and the mysterious secret of the card. Desperation seeps through as he silently pleads for answers. Amidst the darkness, a faint memory or name surfaces. Krista, hinting at a connection just beyond reach. A mysterious, ethereal figure named Krista appears, gently assuring the protagonist that everything will be all right. She promises that the moment for him to uncover the truth is drawing near, urging him toward a place called the region. With hope flickering, he reaches out, drawn by her words and the promise of answers waiting just ahead. Desperately seeking answers, the protagonist reaches out to Krista, pleading for the truth about the region and the mysterious card. Just as hope seems within grasp, his phone suddenly erupts with urgent notifications, pulling him back to reality with a start. Just as he tries to focus, a message pops up on his phone with a mysterious link. Curiosity piqued. He clicks it, only to be met with the chilling title, Demon Lord. Confused and unsettled, he wonders aloud what kind of sight this could be. The screen flashes a chilling image, a skull with the words, Demon Lord, emblazoned beside it, staring at his phone. The protagonist's eyes widen in shock and confusion as he whispers, "What is this?" The protagonist's phone reveals a sinister auction site selling unimaginable things, from fake passports to making people disappear, even a gorilla for 200 million yen. Shocked, he realizes with dread that he's stumbled upon the dark web. Suddenly, a chilling presence named Jashin calls out to him, sending a wave of fear through the room. The protagonist's phone reveals a horrifying marketplace where anything can be bought, from organ trafficking to bomb manufacturing. Truly the darkest corners of society. A sinister voice explains that this place sells things impossible to find in the real world, leaving him shaken and questioning why Mai would send him such a disturbing link. His eyes snap open in shock as he spots it. His precious crystal card, the high-value item he's been desperately searching for, now listed on this terrifying dark web auction. His heart pounds as he stares at the staggering price tag. 15 billion yen for the crystal card. The label high-value item suddenly feels terrifyingly real, leaving him breathless and questioning how something so precious could be up for sale here.